Hello chickies, welcome to the Fully Booked Penguin channel. I am Hannah and today we are doing my April TBR. As always, we are going to use a spin wheel to get our prompts for our books. However, first we are going to do our Wheel of Doom and Peace, i.e. 10 before the end that me and my friend are doing. We each chose 10 books or prompted each other to choose 10 books for the year, and so we choose one each month to tackle. Last month's was actually really good, so check my March wrap up for that one. Impeccable pick. So I'm hoping this month's is equally as perfect. So we have our first wheel here and we're going to see what we're going to get for our Wheel of Doom and Peace, i.e. 10 before the end. Ooh, Villains Are Destined to Die by Gwon Gyeoeul, which is novel number 1 of the series. So I've already been reading the manhwas of the series, which is these ones, you can just see them. But I have the light novel they've just started translating, so this is by Eyes Press, and they've just started doing the novel of that series. So we're beginning at the start. And this is about Penelope, who is a real world person. She plays this game where in easy mode you play as this heroine and in hard mode you play as the villainess. However, she wakes up in the gaming world and she is, of course, the villainess. So she has a lot of death flags. But is she really the villainess? That remains to be seen. And so we have some different targets because it's an otome game, so they have targets they have to woo, or just one, you know. And so she is trying to choose one so she can win the game and escape, because she had just escaped her abusive family in the real world and now she's experiencing an abusive family right here, and she's like, when will this end? So she has to win the game in order to escape, but there's a lot of plot twisties along the way and a lot of death to overcome and avoid. We're up to the first volume. Let me just say, this guy, Derek, he's a brother of Penelope. Hate the guy so much. But we are up to volume 1. There it is. It's very pretty for a guy that we hate, but very pretty. So yeah, very excited to dive into this one. Very good pick by the wheel. Alright, so I've removed all the prompts that have been used in previous months. And so now we have all that it remains, which is still a fair amount. Hopefully it gives us something new. So we have our first spin here, which is going to be most recent book you bought. I think the most recent book I bought is technically a sequel. I've gifted books. Alright, technically the most recent book that I bought that isn't later in a series that I'm not up to is the second book in The Earl and the Fairy by Ayuko and then Mizue Tani. So I read the first volume and now we're up to the second. So I bought all 4 volumes of the manga together. So technically, amongst all the others, it is my latest purchase that I'm up to, I think. Don't quote me. I tend to pre-order books, so me pre-ordering, I forget what I bought. But this is secondhand and therefore I remember it. In The Earl and the Fairy, we are following Lydia, who is a fairy doctor, so she can see fairy. And she is summoned to see her father, but that's a bit suspicious about that, because there's a few different organizations going on, and they're all searching for this sword, I think, that marks that person as this heir to a fortune. So she thinks she's being summoned by her father, but I don't think she was. And so she runs into Edgar, who is a blonde lead, and he has a lot of mystery about him, but he says he is the heir to the sword, the true one. So he takes her and, you know, tries to find this sword. And the reason they need a fairy doctor to track down the sword is that the heirs are meant to be able to see fairies too, but the ability has slowly left the family, so the inscriptions on their clues only Lydia can read. So that's why he wants her in his team and not in the team of these other ones that they're in competition with. So I love it because there's mystery, there's intrigue, and yeah, the characters are really fun so far. Once I finish this series, I will move on to the novels, but I thought I'd go through the manga first. And yeah, very interesting so far. So there we go. The Earl and the Fairy. Okay, book number 3 is going to be Yellow. Random genre wheel. So I've got my separate genre wheel here. So we're gonna spin it and see what it lands on. What could it be? What could it be? Contemporary fiction. I must admit, I'm not a big buyer of contemporary fiction, to be honest. TBH. We are going with XOXO by Axie Oh. I believe this is a contemporary YA romance. So we are following Jenny, who is a cellist, and she meets Jae-woo, who pulls her into an unforgettable evening before his flight home to South Korea. So it's classical musician meets K-pop star, and of course in K-pop they're not meant to date, but there's a connection between the two of them. And so she goes to an elite arts academy and they meet again. They assume it's them deciding whether they're gonna pursue love or not. I've read one of Axie Oh's fantasy series, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, but I haven't tried any contemporary YA, so we're gonna try that one out. I'm intrigued. Having followed K-pop for a while now, I'll be on it too. K-dramas, K-pop, I'm on it. Korean cooking shows, I'll be sassing it out. So that is choice number 3. Book number 4 on the list is going to be Gifted Book. My friend loves gifting me books, and honestly she spoils me. So this is actually the latest one. Oh, it's upside down. But I'm intrigued to read it, and that is Miss Lattimore's Letter by Suzanne Allain. This is a historical romance, I believe, and I believe it's a standalone. So in this, I believe that she sends a letter at some point, and it helps get this couple together. However, for some reason, the word gets out, and she suddenly becomes this person that everyone goes to for matchmaking and for love help. Okay, so she warns a gentleman. She warns a gentleman that he's about to propose to the wrong woman. There we go. And the anonymous letter becomes the talk of the town. And yes, her identity is discovered. Wow. So she has several people show up and she's matchmaker, but not really. She never set out to be a matchmaker. So we have several different people showing up to disturb her peace, really. And so she has, I believe, a bit of a love triangle going on. I'm not the biggest fan of love triangles, to be honest, but it sounds intriguing. So it's one of those situations where she's not really that experienced or great at romance, but everyone thinks she is. So I'm sure it's a lot of drama. Drama-filled book. So there we go, that is book number 4. For our read, Miss Lattimore's Letter by Suzanne Allain. Historical romance. Book number 5 is going to be... I'm going to come up with some original thing to say while this is spinning at some point. Not today, though. Goodreads group recommendation. We're not going to do that. I'm not sure how this works. Community. Groups. Of course, my thing decides it's not going to be able to connect to the internet right at this very exact moment. Cue the elevator music. Imagine I just put in really head-rocking music. If I did that, funny. You funny goose. I have some noodles here that I can eat while I wait. I'm browsing. That's why I'm shrimped down here. Come up with a random colour. Somebody has made this, so there it is. Alright, we had... Okay, I was gonna say we've had yellow, but there's a bluey purpley one. I just so happen to have these 2 books, which fit the bluey purple perfectly. They're both book 2s in manhwa series. This one is sad because the group is going through it. ENHYPEN. There's a lot happening. But this is a manhwa based off the group kind of thing. It's their story. The villainess is a marionette, which is this is book 2 of the series. No, we haven't done this one in a while, so we're going to read Dark Moon, The Blood Altar. This is a vampire story. It is the story behind ENHYPEN, a K-pop group. And we're following a girl. Her name is Suha. And she has super strength, but she's not a vampire. She hates vampires because she's always been accused of being a vampire, even though she isn't. And they killed her best friend. So we have her going to an academy which supposedly does not allow vampires. However, she might run into some gentlemen at the academy. And let me just say, they might have fangs. So that is going to be our next pick. Dark Moon. Currently we've run into some werewolves. So I think the werewolves and the vampires are going to fight for her attention. Book number 6 is going to be highest rated. So we're going to go to my books on Goodreads. Then you can sort by average rating. I think I haven't quite added all the books to it yet, but we're just going to go with what's on there, and that is with a 4.72 is Of Love and Law by Constance Lopez. This is a short story collection from the Tasmanian Chronicle series. So we have Of Trust and Tears, Of Drakens and Disaster, of summer and stormlarks, of brothers and bounties, and more. That is going to be in the next one. It's set in a world where the ruling families have these pets that are like their family pets, and mages and stuff have been in the land, but one of the countries have been persecuting them, and then the other, one has been trying to kill off the mages, the other is trying to gather them all and sort of monopolize them. And there's a lot going on. There's elves, there's tons of stuff, many talents. So I have no clue what these stories are about. I assume side characters from the first 3 books in the series. There you go, that is our highest rated book on my TBR list, which isn't updated, but there we go. So it appears I didn't record my next spin, but you know the drill. It comes up, spinny, spin, spin, and then wow! Next book in a series is what we got, which is great because we have so many series. Let me tell you, there's tons of books in series. What do we have? We have a lot of fantasy. I feel like a mystery. I feel like we need to do mystery. I'm going to continue with the Nancy Drew series. And this one is The Mystery at Lilac Inn. All it says on the back is, at this instant, a piercing shriek came from the garden. The 3 girls dashed down the stairs and rushed outside. So this is a reprint, new collection of the original Nancy Drew series. So we have the old style images in it. And this is like a middle grade, sleuthy kind of series. Obviously, it's a classic. Honestly, I have no clue what we're going to get into because it doesn't say. But I assume there's a mystery at a lilac inn. A lot of flowers and maybe a fire. Is that fire? I don't know. It is book 4 in the series. So excited to get into some mystery. So, we got a lot of physical books this month, so that's good. Which brings us to our final spin of the TBR wheel. If I can bring it up. Come on, don't fail me now. Free choice. I'm going to actually give up my free choice. Instead, we're going to go with, because having choices is actually worse for me right now. I can't make choices. I need less. No, we already did that one. Just keep repeating this roll until we get a prompt that I haven't had before. Keeps doing ones I've had before. Come on. Come on, wheel. We're on to the last one. Blue. Book starting with a random letter of the alphabet. Okay. Our random letter is going to be D. There is no D's. There is a D. But we're not doing it. I'm stubborn. I'm gonna use my free choice to not use that prompt. We're going a different letter. K. I do have a K. Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This has been on my list several times and I just haven't completed it. We're gonna pick it again. Maybe, since I'm in the mood for mystery, we'll actually get to it. Plus, I no longer have a book to publish. Well, I mean, it's published. So it's live and it's in the world. I've done my author event, so now I can just read and write like I did. And still struggle with my chronic illness, but hopefully have brain power for books. So, Killer Instinct, it's book 2 in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's about teenagers get hired by the FBI to solve cold cases because they're naturals. They just got natural talent. And yeah, there was a weird love angle last time. I didn't like it because she kissed these two dudes. And I'm like, what? Who? Only in YA random novels do they just go around smooching everyone. Probably happens in real life, but let me live in delusion. And I hope that's not in this one. And I did figure out the big bad guy in book 1. So hopefully I figure out the big bad guy in book 2. Who knows? I think they go back to try and do cold cases, but it becomes a present case again. So yes, new victims of a new serial killer. Nope. There's a copycat. There we go. So it's like it's pretty much, you know, those CSI. I guess it's more like the naturalist. Is it really called the naturalist? The mediast. The mentalist. My goodness, we got there in the end. Or like Bull, where they, no, not like Bull. Like Monk? No, not like Monk. I mean, the mentalist is kind of what I meant. I watched a series recently and they had this bloke who could read facial cues and different cues. Lie to me. She's like a lie detector. Except not really. She gets in the mind of the serial killers. So I guess that's a little different from Lie to Me. Anyway, all those crime shows that they have on TV, this is like a YA book version. So that is our 8th book, and they are all physical this month. That's a lot of reading. My goodness. Oh. So that's a wrap on our April TBR. I'm just gonna let you go now. Let me know what you're reading in April. If you've read any of these books. Yeah. Have a great day. I won't keep you any longer. Peace. Bye-bye.
티니 로그 끝.